Good evening, everybody. What is going on? Thank you for being here. We truly appreciate it. Before we get into anything, two things. First, take a moment, read the disclaimer. We are not financial advisors. We are not your financial advisors. We have no idea what we're talking about. We're just two guys on the internet. Talk about finance. Do your own due diligence. Don't make any decisions based on us. The second, rest in peace, Chuck Norris.
Wait, really?
A national hero died today.
Did that really happen?
That really happened. A national hero passed away. Tragic.
Dude.
I am sure that the ghosts are now scared of Chuck Norris.
I mean, the afterlife will never be the same. I'll tell you that much. They woke up and I thought there was a joke, but yeah, shit, I had no idea. I saw some people say that earlier in amidst chat, and I didn't know it was real.
Yeah. So
what a legend.
Legend. Not sure what his best movie was, but guy was an absolute legend, pioneer. Rest in peace.
Crazy.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Chels, what is going on? Lena, what is going on? PB, what is going on? Dookie Pie, what is going on? Melanie is here. Robert is here. Got a lot of regulars here. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to say your name correctly instead of messing with you. Jake Rizzo, I do know what your name is. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Armoroki, really appreciate it. Doesn't Matt look like Luke Combs? If I knew who Luke Combs was, I will let you know.
Why doesn't Luke Combs look like me?
Why not? Who is this Luke Combs you talk of?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you could put in the chat who Luke Combs is, that would be great. That would be great. Anyway, got a lot to go over today. So let's get oil out of the way, Matt. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but
Steve,
we're at high levels. What's your professional opinion on this?
Oh, I mean, I don't know anything about oil prices, but I mean, I think if the war persists, it could potentially stay higher. But I think that right now, what's really ongoing is the supply chain disruption. And if that gets resolved, then prices are going to go lower. But I think the thing that's more scary, which is really taking a massive hit and will have a lot more implications on economies worldwide, is actually natural gas prices. And here in the United States, we're not feeling it. We are feeling the oil price here in the United States and at the pump. But I think right now, especially in the southern hemisphere, where you have South America and you have Japan and Korea, they don't have the storage capacity that, say, a Europe does. Europe has a lot of depleted gas reservoirs in which they can use for natural gas storage leading up to the winter. But my mic is scuffed. Steven.
Okay. I will apologize.
Why is my mic scuffed, Steven?
I have been making fun of Matt for a while, telling him to stop wearing headphones. It's got to be uncomfortable. And of course, if you notice, he's not wearing headphones because he's sick of me hearing him. He's sick of hearing me tell him not to wear headphones. And he must have done something to his settings.
The only thing I've done in my settings is not wear headphones, Steve.
I apologize. It's my fault, everyone. It is 100% my fault. They're saying so loud, so loud. Des, what's going on? Well, Dookie Pie, you were correct today that Micron would head lower. And for everybody in the chat, yes, I bought NVIDIA again. I'm not shook. I am not shook. All right, Matt's going back old school.
I mean, I don't. The mic isn't any different. I haven't changed anything in the mic settings, so I don't know why me wearing headphones would have a difference. But
It sounds the same to me.
okay. Well, you're
All
not
right,
wearing
let's keep
headphones.
going.
It's
So
probably.
what are we thinking on oil, Matt?
So I was not talking about oil. I was talking about LNG. If you were listening, Steve. See, much better, Steve. Come on, man. Dude, I can't make this up. Same sound. I don't know. I'm hearing conflicting messages. I didn't change anything on the game. Like nothing. I think it's Steve that's messed up, not me.
How am I messed up?
What do you think on oil prices, Steve?
Well, I think if the situation in the Strait is not fixed this weekend, we're going to see 110 WTI next week, is what I think. You had a 2 million barrel surplus per day. That's starting to work its way out of the system. If the Strait's not opened up, I think that we're going to get into a constriction, and I think it sends oil prices much higher.
I'm going to check my settings here.
Oh, thank you, Kryptonite. Yeah, brackets are being busted all over the place. If you're looking at it, Duke almost lost. And NVIDIA is saying I'm dumb because I bought NVIDIA today. And NVIDIA is going lower than 150 in a couple of weeks. I mean, if NVIDIA goes lower than 150, Jesus Christ. Chuck Norris rocks. Delta Force missing in action. Chuck Norris is an American icon. I can't believe 150, Dookie. Don't scare me like that. 150. Crazy talk. And Chell steps in and says, I hope so, because I'll be buying.
Anyway, so hopefully that's better. I don't know what
Oh, that does sound actually better, Matt.
But I don't know why. I didn't change anything. So so I'm very frustrated by that. Maybe I fell asleep and accidentally hit something. But what was I basically saying? So LNG prices, I don't think that people fully understand. So Europe has time to build up a storage capacity because they have a lot of naturally depleted gas reservoirs in the area versus like a Korea, Japan, and several of the other nations that are in the southern hemisphere. That is something that they do basically just in time delivery. So they do have some storage, but it's not in the ground. It's actually on the surface. So they just do it using normal cryogenic tanks on the surface of the earth. They don't try to do any sort of storage capacity in ground or anything like that. And so the direct impacts that are going on from the Strait of Hormuz are impacting the Japanese and Korea economy massively. And so if you think that what we're seeing here in the United States is bad in terms of impacts associated with Iran, you should check out the Korean markets. They're taking a massive hit just based off of the fact that feedstock obviously is going to cost a lot more. Inflation in that respect is going to cost a lot more. So, but anyway, for anybody that has been following me on the Venture Global Next Decade train, this is going to be something that's nice because so many people over the past several months have been like, oh, but supply glut. Well, unfortunately, because of this war, and it's not just specifically about the current capacity, but it's the follow-on impacts of the current capacity. So you can't expand on the Northfield infrastructure if the current infrastructure is damaged. And so it's going to take several years before that's fully up and running. And that's 13 MTPA. And because of that, you're going to push back further projects and things of that nature that we're supposed to start getting built in the next 24 to 36 months. And so that's just going to push out the supply curve out in time and allow you to not necessarily have as much of a quote unquote glut like many people were kind of talking about over the past several years. So anyway, I just think it's an opportune time. I think it'll really help with respect to short-term paying off of debt for both Venture Global and Next Decade. If Next Decade can potentially take advantage of this, a lot of people have been forecasting things like $3 spread prices, where basically you're getting nil for being able to send to Europe and to Southeast Asia, and now we're starting to see something that's much wider than that. Obviously, you still have to pay shipping costs to go from the Gulf Coast to Europe and South Asia and South America, but you're talking about $20 an MCF, whereas here in the United States, it's $3. So you have a massive spread that will help when it comes to paying off Venture Global's debt. So I'm very curious to see how even 1 or 2 quarters worth of this uplift can really allow them to pay down some of the short-term debt, because not all of the debt for Plaquemines is actually fully termed out yet. Some of it's still construction because it's not fully online, as everybody knows that has been following the story. The commercial online date, because of the power plant not being fully up to speed in Plaquemines, is still being worked, and that's why it's still on commissioning cargoes, because the power plant isn't fully up and running. So it's on temporary power. So anyway, that's that. But I mean, I do understand from an oil perspective why people would be concerned. That obviously has a direct impact on feed costs for here in the United States, which has direct impacts on shipping costs, which has direct impacts on feed. But I think the thing that's most important is for electricity, the majority of the grid here in the United States is based off of natural gas right now. And so at least for that perspective, we should be okay in terms of not necessarily having to have a direct impact on electricity costs. Now, there's also going to be follow-on costs associated with oil impacts because of delivery and things like that, and additional costs associated with delivering turbines and everything. But at least initial feedstock, you shouldn't have any issue.
Interesting, Matt. Very interesting. All right. So we got that out of the way. Markets down a lot this week, 2 to 3%. Do you feel we're near a bottom? Do you feel that we are going lower? And is there anything that you're buying?
I didn't hear that. Sorry, I got a phone call.
Markets are down 2 to 3% this week. Do you think we're getting close to a bottom? Do you agree with Dookie Pie that we're going lower? Is there anything that you're potentially buying right now? Did you buy anything this week? Is there anything that's getting you excited?
I personally don't let these short-term swings really dictate whether or not I'm going to be more cautious or anything. I just buy every time I have money on the side, and I buy every 2 weeks. And I try not to let myself try to think that I'm smarter than I am. How am I supposed to answer something like that? The market could immediately be over to the impacts in the wars could immediately be over tomorrow. And here I'm saying it's going to go lower. Like I have no predictive crystal ball, and to anybody to think that they do is, unless they know exactly what Trump is going to do tomorrow, then it's kind of asinine to even make a prediction. The best that I can do is just say, okay, I have capital coming in and I want to deploy X amount and take advantage of the prices that I see today. I like where VG is at. Microsoft. I like where Meta is at. I like where a lot of these companies are at. And if I wasn't stacking a little bit of cash, and I'm not stacking cash because of the market, I'm stacking cash because I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to do next. But if I weren't stacking cash and I were deploying capital, I'd probably start initiating positions in both Microsoft and Meta. And I've actually been very tempted, even though I am stacking cash, to to start initiating positions in both. But unfortunately, I just haven't come to terms whether or not what I want to do with the surplus of capital that I have at hand. So I think it's very interesting where people try to take into consideration, a small window. And to me, the way I like to look at it is if the prices really get that good, find a way to get the capital. I think so many people try to rely on what's going to happen tomorrow when they really just need to focus on taking the punches day by day. That's what I've done for the past 10 years. I'm not sitting around waiting. I know some people it's worked out really well. So I'm not saying, that's what everyone should do, where they, can sit on their hands and say, oh my God, look at me. I can time the bottom perfectly because apparently everyone on X can. And then they can always time the tops perfectly as well. But to me, I just say, hey, shit, Microsoft's at a good price. Meta's at a good price. If I had capital, I'd probably buy something like that right now. I don't see any reason why a war in the Middle East could have an impact on the long-term cash flow outlay on something like a Meta or Microsoft. In fact, anything that happened this past week with respect to what NVIDIA showed and what Micron showed, many others showed, is you should be more bullish than about the future than less.
Yeah, I am very bullish long term. I bought more Microsoft this week. I bought more Salesforce this week, and I bought more NVIDIA this week. I'm a buyer. Can it go down? Absolutely. Did I buy at the bottom? Probably not. But I also don't know when the hell this. I cannot believe I'm being asked this question. Dookie, I'm going to assume you've never played craps before then. I just assumed that you've played craps because with how you view the market, I figured that you're the one that goes to the craps table and puts money on don't pass. Anyway, I probably didn't buy the bottom. I certainly am not at the point where I'm ready to call a bottom or say that I think a bottom is in. I'm getting closer. I don't have the same feeling that I had during Liberation Day. Crapless craps is a sin. It's like saying that you play bubble craps. No bueno.
Not a fan of the bubble crap, Steve.
No, I need the dice. Give me the dice. I'll hold those dice for a long time. Give me those dice. But I think that we're going to be okay. Everything can change on the dime. Trump can come out with a tweet and all this can change. We just don't know when that is. So I'm not scared of NVIDIA here. If it goes to 150, I'll buy more.
Where's it at, Steve?
I bought a 172 something.
Today?
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
I sent it to Mitt. He's like, put that on X. I'm like, I don't want to put it on X. So I put it on X. Trust me. He's like, put it on X. He bullied me into it.
Do people like it, Steve, or do they bully you?
I mean, I don't really care. What were you going to do? Make fun of me? I don't like. I give a shit.
I mean, not everyone on X is an expert, right? I mean, I have people telling me they're selling Venture Global at $12 because next week it's going to go back to $8. Where is it at this week, Steve?
Oh.
So I mean, I'm not trying to say that I'm some sort of oracle, but like people that think that they know that they're like, oh well, it's a short-term high, so I'm gonna sell it. The amount of times I've heard people say that with Rocket Lab, with Palantir, with any other stock that thinks like, oh well, I'm just gonna continue to accumulate shares because I'm selling at a local high. It's like nobody gives a fuck about your local high, my guy. Like the market, just because you sold, you think the market's gonna automatically go down? I think it's so hysterical when people think that they're smarter than the market.
Well, it's hard to be smarter than the market in the long term. I certainly don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. I will say Amit was right. I posted this 3 hours ago, and it already has 26,000 views. He was not wrong.
That's true. It's 26,000 more views than I got, Steve.
He was not wrong. At 3:30, I showed that I bought 100 more shares of NVIDIA.
You didn't show the price, Steve. What are you shook?
I don't know. This is what it said on the trade confirmation. Well, there was a bunch of scribbles on the bottom, and Amit cropped it and said, "Post this one, idiot." He didn't call me an idiot, but I'm sure he
I would have.
wanted to.
I would.
And then people are saying I need to charge my phone.
Charge your phone, Steve.
I mean, probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
So what are you doing, Steve?
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, look,
You're obviously buying more. You bought some more NVIDIA. You think you're better than everyone. I get it. What else?
No, listen, I don't think I'm better than everybody. To me, NVIDIA is too cheap. Can it get cheaper? Absolutely. Am I a buyer if it gets cheaper? Absolutely.
What's going to happen, Steve? You're going to find more capital to buy if it goes lower?
Yes.
Holy fucking shit, people. People are like, I'm going to wait till it gets to 150. What if it never gets back there?
What if it never gets there?
I'm telling you. Steve, are you a rocket scientist?
I am not. My father is, though.
I feel like that one scene from Gump, Forrest Gump, where the major it's like, God damn it, Gump! You must be the smartest motherfucker I've ever seen.
I agree with PB, by the way. We want to see more of this map.
Steve, only you can prevent forest fires and hire me full time.
Listen, one of these days, buddy, one of these days.
I will sign a contract to work for you for $1.
No, you shut the fuck up. Notice how you're not saying how much time per week you're going to give me.
I'll just videotape myself sleeping.
There you go.
Catching up. And sorry, I just want to say, now that we started up, we're 22 minutes in. If you guys remember, Steve and I streamed on Sunday. My eye was bothering me. I have now seen a doctor. Things are on the up and up with the eye, but it's obviously very bloodshot, very red. So that's why I'm still wearing the glasses. So I appreciate it. It's not the best looking sight, but I wanted to come on stream and hang out with Steve. So apologies that I look like an idiot and I keep closing my eyes, and I probably look like I'm trying to hide from the light. I am trying to hide from the light. The light obviously is shining directly in your eyes with the spotlight, and trying to keep it can get a little bit tiring. So anyway, but hopefully next week it'll be up running and tip top shape again. So,
well, we hope for a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Hope for a speedy recovery. John Jones, everybody, calling everybody out. Random thought: arthritis hurts. It doesn't make you cripple. I'm still smashing 99.47% of you out there. I would actually say John Jones is smashing 99.99999% of people out there. Just
in terms of returns, or
no, in a fight.
Oh, that John Jones, got it.
That John Jones. Yes.
Oh, my sleep score a little bit better, but I don't know specifics. No, John Jones would be. I'm a pussy. Sorry.
John Jones is freaking ridiculous.
I'm a big softy, everybody. Y'all know this. Come on. I'm a big bear.
I really wanted to see him on the White House card, but who knows?
Yeah, what's the verbiage on that? What's going on?
I don't think it's
You don't think it's happening?
No, I just don't think the White House card is that good. But,
I was about to say, I was like, you don't think it's happening? I'll call.
No,
I'll call
it's
Donnie.
happening. I don't think it's that good.
I was like, I got connects.
White House.
I'll put this live stream on the White House page right now.
I mean, that'd be pretty awesome.
Can you imagine if I was just like, and it just
you got a secret button to do it? That'd be great. So the real questions are, how are we positioning? And I showed this chart before, and I'm going to show it to you, Matt. And this is why I continuously say I don't care and why I'm not scared. Oh, no, we go to 6,000. Okay. Tell me we're not going to be at 8,000 at some point? So every time the market got scary, eventually it turned. Is today worse than COVID? Is today worse than the correction of 21? Is today worse than the Russia-Ukraine war? Where were oil prices during the Russia-Ukraine war? They were over 100. So I just don't think this is the worst part. I don't think this is the worst environment to be buying in on a downturn. And the last thing that I want to see is a market that just goes straight up. Obviously, it sucks seeing less money in your account, but this is also why individual stocks may not be for everybody. I disagree. This whole thing is worse than COVID. 0% chance. 0% chance because our country is not shut down. I mean, I hate the loss of life overseas, and I obviously did not want this to happen, but the country shut down. Now, in some places it didn't shut down, but the major cities legitimately shut down. Nobody knew what was going to happen. At some point, this is going to turn around with oil.
You said with oil? Sorry.
Yeah, at some point, this is going to turn. At some point, we're going to see oil go lower and the market's going to correct to the upside. The question is, do we get to 6,000 or not? I have no idea. But this is all short term. When you take a step back, you look at this on a 5-day, it looks horrific. You look at a month, it looks horrific. Year to date, okay, it's selling off. We're in a downtrend. You go out a year on the SPY, you're still up 14.5%. I mean,
Yeah,
is there really a lot to complain about?
The market's always just dislike uncertainty, and right now there's just a lot of uncertainty in the markets. Are prices of oil going to go higher? Is Iran going to unfortunately expand beyond the Middle East, as we've kind of
Right.
already seen them start to get a little bit more aggressive in that respect? I think that is really the concern, and right now, I don't even think that this is that bad. I mean, if you think about it in that respect, we're at 648. We were at 7,000. That's less than 10% down. It's not even 10% down. It's like 8% down, if I'm correct there, Steve. If anything, this is healthy. You could see this without any ongoing war going on in the Middle East. Just based off of what natural market occurrences have and generally do. Generally speaking, there's always a 10% pullback at a minimum every year. Very rarely is there not one. And I'm sure if you looked at the past 5 years, you'll see comparable dips in the S&P 500 as you've seen in the past. So I don't know. To me, it's not even that big of a deal. I think what is scaring most people is the fact that they're invested in these high beta stocks, as we've talked about for the past several months. I've been talking about it for 6 months. Some of these stocks are not going to come out of the other side of this. People are realizing that these high beta names that don't necessarily have the execution ability are not a place that people want to be in 2026, 2027, with interest rates getting cut and people hyper focusing on debt going into the data centers. That's where people want to focus a little bit more money and time and infrastructure, and manufacturing being the hot thing right now. People aren't really necessarily focusing on these high risk sort of things when they have this opportunity with money and focus and attention going in on defense technology and what's going on with companies like Palantir, Anduril, and the Golden Dome. That's where people want to put money. That's where people are putting focus. Nobody wants to care about some fintech stock when they're a dime a dozen. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news there. So I just think that you kind of, in times like this, need to, unfortunately, chase attention and go where the money is going. And money is not going right now into some of these auxiliary positions that I think a lot of people have been, super fired up about. So.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you. So I'm going to get back to stocks in a sec. Dookie Pie, I know you're a Luca fan, and I don't know what's on your mind when I say I want to show you something, but I had bought some Luca stuff. This one is still sealed in the Panini Luca Auto Fast Break, and I got some of his rookies. I gotta send this out to get graded, Dookie. And then I picked up a Luca Shockwave PSA 9. So figured you'd
Steven,
be proud of me on that, Dookie. Figured you'd be proud of me because you're a big Luca fan. And I don't know what my portfolio is. I have too many positions to figure out what it is. I have no freaking clue.
Steve, are you going to use an opportunity like this to consolidate a bit?
No.
Why not?
Too much time. Too much effort.
Too much effort to do so?
Yeah. No, I at some point I need to sit down with the shadow government and look at everything and figure out if we should consolidate a few things.
I think now, not necessarily saying you need to, you've already made up your mind on that. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. But I like these times right now to do just that, when you have the market kind of going through its little temper tantrum. And, it's times like this where I like to consolidate my positions, because a lot of times when the times are good, the market's always going up and to the right. I continue to expand in positions. I'll be like, oh, this looks cool. This looks cool. This looks cool. And it's times like this where, whether or not you have another leg down, or whether or not you're just trying to figure out where your focus may be, I take opportunities like this to consolidate and say, and I've done this before, right? I mean, earlier this year, maybe it was, or I meant earlier last year, I consolidated SoFi, I consolidated Nubank. I like those companies. I think in the long term, they're going to continue to do well. But I think that it's much easier to declutter my mind. As much as I would love to have infinite time, unfortunately, I don't. And the maximum I can kind of give is probably like 10 to 15% of my brain, any individual position. So I don't know. That's just me. I know some people love to have less than 5% in any given position, but at the same time, if you know what the fuck you're doing, like, hyper concentration can do extremely well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The people who have made the most money have been the ones that are super concentrated and stuff. There's no question about that. So I want to show this. I'm going to bring this up. Pulling out a showing. Dookie, I have no idea what that means. So I wish that they labeled these by stock, not percentages. The orange line is SPY. So SPY is down 4.9% year to date. This is a year to date chart. The only Mag 7 company that is doing better than it is Alphabet. Then you have Nvidia down 7.4%. You have Apple down 8.8%. You have Meta down 10.1%. You have Amazon down 11%. Tesla down 18.2%. Microsoft is the worst out of the Mag 7. Year to date, down 21%.
Oh, that's just year to date.
Year to date.
I bet if you do the year chart, it's even worse for Microsoft.
Okay, Dookie, I now understand Wayne's World reference. I gotcha.
He's a dude, I think. I don't know. Maybe.
Does Microsoft deserve to be down more than Tesla? I have no idea. Obviously, the market thinks so. If we go back 5 years, I mean, that's just crazy that NVIDIA, NVIDIA, oh my God, crazy. Let's take NVIDIA out of this. I mean, Amazon underperforming freaking SPY and Microsoft underperforming SPY over a 5-year period. How crazy is that?
I
Look,
can't wait, Steve.
sometimes, and I know, I get it. You went all in on Nvidia at the right time. More power to you. I didn't. I get it. You bought Alphabet at the right time. Also,
Yes, I did, Steve.
so did I, but I didn't buy enough. But look, in times like this when the market is going down, I mean, over the past month, there's a couple of names, but year to date, there's only one name that's better than SPY right now. So sometimes holding individual stocks can drive you crazy. You got to be ready for the volatility when you're playing that game. And I see this and I'm like, man, this is ripe for meta, ripe for
You know
meta.
who invested a crap ton of capital in 2020 and 2021 and came out better for it?
Who?
Amazon. And then ever since they kind of flatlined. You know who also took this strategy, Steve, that's absolutely printing right now? Completely different sector.
What would that be, Matty?
Exxon.
ExxonMobil. If I told you where I bought it during the pandemic, and I did not buy a lot by any means, I bought it in my dividend harvesting portfolio for seeking alpha. I'm kicking myself in the ass that I did not put a lot of money in it.
So the thing that's beautiful about something like an Exxon is they saw that they had something absolutely beautiful. They were able to get an entry cost of a new frontier basin that basically they got very favorable regulatory terms because they were taking an extreme chance when nobody else wanted to take the extreme chance. I sold Exxon too early, but the reason why I bought it so much during the pandemic is because one, it has very strong cash flows. Two, I knew that they were overspending, and I think a lot of people were very concerned at the fact that they were overspending their free cash. So they were actually free cash flow negative for several years while they were continuing to pay a dividend. And keep in mind, like, they don't have the highest dividend yield, but they are the largest of the oil and gas companies. So even though they might not have the largest yield, they're still paying out massive amounts annually in terms of total dividend payments. But I think that they were borrowing at one point $15 or $20 billion at its peak to be able to fund Guyana. And now each of those boats, I guarantee, is producing like $1.5 or $2 billion a year in free cash. And now I think they're about to start up their 6th or 7th boat within the next 12 months. So those boats themselves are just absolutely printing money. And I wouldn't be surprised if Exxon has probably the lowest debt of all the major oil and gas companies right now. It's been a minute since I've looked, but sometimes it's worthwhile to go into debt in the short term if you know you have a great opportunity. And I'm cautiously optimistic that that's what Amazon is doing right now. They've seen the costs in which that they are able to take advantage of and the profits are able to take advantage of in providing these data centers and the return on capital invested associated with it. Imagine with me, Steve, that we have, as you've already seen, $100-some billion in investment this past 12 months for Amazon, and the potentially 150 to 200 this year that they're kind of forecasting. Plus, let's just say they keep it flat next year. That's $500 billion worth of potential capital expenditure in the course of 3 years. What would you give a return on capital for that? Let's just say it's 25% on that. I'm not good with math, Steve, but what is that in terms of cash flow from operations when it's fully up and running? Granted, it's going to take some time, but if my math is correct, if you have a 25% return on capital and you just invested $500 billion, eventually you're going to be flowing through about $125 billion of additional cash flow from operations.
I mean,
that is approximately how much the company is creating right now. So you're telling me that the company is going to be able to double in 3 years. That's pretty expansive. And that only means that they can continue to expand the amount of capital expenditure that they have, because they don't really do buybacks. They don't really do any dividend. So they can just continue to ride this curve until they said, let's go back into harvest mode. So
Your math's correct, Matt.
somebody ban that guy.
Who?
The guy on X.
Um,
Oh, I guess we can't. Nobody can ban him. I guess we can. He's one of your followers, Steve, not mine.
anyway. Yeah, I have it streaming the X, Matt. Well, Dookie Pie, I second that. Matt is pretty damn smart. That's why we bring him here.
I paid Dookie Pie to say that.
Matt is the White House quant for a reason. Okay. The White House quant for a reason. So I don't know when this is going to be over. I don't think that it's time to run for the hills. Things are likely going to get lower. But you know what? We got next week, or I guess in a week and a half, 401k money coming again.
Oh,
That should make everybody pretty happy. Oh, how do you feel about Landman season 3's happening?
is there a trailer?
There is not a trailer. We got Landman season 3 though.
Part of me's upset because I wish I had the cojones to do something like that.
Just do it.
But I'm not Steven Fiorillo.
Just do it.
Steve, if you'd never see me, I'd be in Utah. You'd be like, Matt, when are you coming to visit? I'd be like, I'm in Utah, Steve.
And when Matt says Utah, he means the Powder River Basin.
Steve giving out my secrets.
Just saying. I know the basins. Come on now. Come on now. So you think that there's more opportunity there than the Wilson?
Wilson is already developed.
I know there's a lot of development there.
Chevron's got that on lock now that they bought Hess.
Yeah.
And Northern Oil and Gas is up there. That's why I like Northern Oil and Gas. So there's some pockets in there that I think can continue to do well. But I think the reason why I like what I like is because there's no set infrastructure as of yet. So you would either need to figure out a way to get the oil to market, but there's a reason why it's only producing 200,000 barrels a day, Steve.
That's all that's coming out of the Powder River?
Oh, I don't know about the Powder River. I mean, the Powder River is probably better. I think it's closer to infrastructure. I think there's infrastructure in the Powder River. I'm talking about the Green River, which is a little bit further west.
Okay.
There's not a lot coming out but the Green River in Utah, because it's very mountainy, very hilly, and a lot of the oil has to get trucked. So
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I wish you would do a Landman thing because I would love to invest in MacCorp.
you know, Steve,
Dookie,
maybe this,
Dookie's making some sense. I think that's a good idea.
why is she trying to gas me up, Steve?
I'm just saying, I think that's a great idea.
I can't see anything, and here I'm getting gassed up. I don't even know what you're saying.
I think it's a great idea. Anyway, Ori had a very specific question on Palantir, a company that I've talked a lot of smack about. I will go first. I think Palantir is one of the greatest companies I've ever seen in my life. I think Palantir is doing things that other people are not able to do. The fact that they have 139% net dollar retention is spectacular. I'm going to bring up two charts about Palantir that will make the case. What the fuck? The hell was that? Okay, so these are the correct ones.
What if everything drops another 20%?
Good.
I hope that it does without the loss of life.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'm not done buying stock personally.
Yeah, look, the reality is unless you're retired, and this is only for S&P, okay? If you are an S&P investor or a total market investor and you're investing for your future, you're investing for retirement, you should want the market to go down because eventually it's going to go back up and you're going to get more shares for your money. So you should not be afraid of that stuff. We'll go back to that though in a sec. So with Palantir specifically, the number of contracts that they are doing on a quarterly basis is incredible. Just in, I don't know where it is on my notes, but it was around 680 or 700 new contracts of $1 million or more in 2025. You look at the customer count, incredible, absolutely incredible, the growth on this. So do I think Palantir is overvalued? Yes. After that quarter and after them guiding for what they guided for, I would not be surprised if we do not see it go down past 125. I always said that I think it's going to go down past 100, but I don't know that it gets lower than 125. It could. The numbers and the growth are that spectacular that I think Palantir can break the rules, and I think that it can trade an elevated multiple while it grows into its valuation. When you put Palantir up against Tesla, it's now cheaper than Tesla. And to me, that's a really important factor because Tesla has always traded at a valuation that never made sense. Now, when we look at Palantir, I mean, Palantir and Tesla, Palantir trades at 114 times this year's earnings. Tesla's trading at 177. Is Palantir expensive? Yeah, but you're talking about a ton of growth over the next 2 years to where it's trading at 57 times 2028 earnings. It's no longer the Palantir that was overvalued 2 years ago. This is a different Palantir, and I don't know that it's going to get a drop to 80 or 90. I just don't think that's in the cards anymore.
If it does, it does. I'll be buying.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as I've gotten into the stock, I mean, if you found me in September 2020, I was talking about how it'd be a $250 billion company. Not far along after that, after they released some additional products, I've said 500. It's easily then gone to $1 trillion. And now I'm saying at least $2.5 trillion. Here we are 6 years, 5.5 years later owning the stock. Never sold a single share. Getting out of some covered calls that are underwater, but other than that, doing well with it, buying more every time I get a paycheck. So I need to see how many shares I'm up to now, Steve. But it's not nearly. I mean, the majority of my shares were bought, below $20 a share. So it's not like I'm stacking thousands here. But I don't know. I think it's a great opportunity. I think that they're thinking about the world as we've seen it develop since the 70s with personal computers. And they said, let's redesign everything instead of piecemealing it like Microsoft has done, which I'm not hating on Microsoft. Microsoft is a phenomenal product, Steve. You know this better than anybody. I use Microsoft products every day. I think Teams has gotten way better over the course of the past 2 years. The integration with like social media networks like Viva Engage and LinkedIn and so many different products that Microsoft has built that has really had a phenomenal impact on enterprise software has done really well. The thing that I think is even more beautiful though is Palantir said, let's think about it from ground zero on how data is truly pulled in across the world, across the globe, across manufacturing lines, across supply chains. And they said, how would you manufacture or how would you build software in that sort of realm, in that sort of avenue? And of course, it's almost like if you think about it, everything starts with an Excel workbook. But you have to make sure that whatever you're bringing in has an idea as to what its relationship is with everything else and all the other data that's going in there. And I think about it almost as like the ABCs. And I was explaining this when we had the opportunity to meet with some other investors in August at Palantir headquarters in New York. And thank you again for the individual who invited me. You know who you are, and it was a blast. And it was hopefully we're able to do it again this year. But it was interesting to kind of explain to people because while the individual engineers that were in the room and the folks that were at Palantir that have used the software, created software, and have been around it, they get it. A lot of the investor side still has no idea what the hell the company does. And the thing that's beautiful is like every piece of data that comes in isn't just like a piece of data. You have to understand what relationship that piece of data has with everything else in the ecosystem. So if you have a piece of, let's just say, kit coming in, it's not just a piece of kit that's labeled, let's just say, dishwasher. It's a dishwasher that was brought in at a particular place that has a certain make and model, etc. And so there's so many different layers, right? Like I'm not just Matt, right? You could just call me Matt, but I have a bunch of relationships. Like how am I related to Steve? How am I related to the people that gave me birth, that raised me? Where do I live, right? It allows you to truly understand and manipulate the data in so much more of a meaningful way. And that's just basically what ontology is this being able to understand and categorize data in a certain manner. And if you don't have that capability built into your data acquisition and your data pipelines and your data flow, it's going to be increasingly more difficult in this world where we have AI and Internet of Things, where you have 5,000 different sensors in a manufacturing plant that's just spitting data at you. And if you don't have that data categorizing appropriately, it's going to be completely useless. And so the hope is that you have somebody smart like Palantir that's able to come in and say, this is your data flow coming in from all these different sensors, and you're able to then organize it in the most appropriate way to make it the most meaningful manipulation of data that you can do. And then be able to not only do that, but search it like you were to go to google.com and say, I want to look at X, Y, and Z data for this particular thing. And you can see the temperature data, the pressure data, the number of outputs that's been done, the flow rate of, let's just say, how many packages have moved through that particular part of the warehouse, all these certain things that have been set up appropriately in the most succinct manner, so that if something does go down, it already has the ability to understand how the warehouse or your facility or anything can then offset anything, right? Because you'll either have a pressure point or a stopping point where you might not necessarily be able to flow through. Well, what if you were to manipulate the manufacturing plant, or you were able to reroute piping or something like that very quickly, open up valves that allow you to flow through a different part to make sure that you at least get a fraction of that flow back, meaning that you don't have to have downtime. You are able to make up the deficit by at least a fraction, and anything like that can save you, specifically on like an oil plant where I've been able to use, can save you from going down. If some of these facilities that we work on, I'll just use a small number, but they make 50,000 barrels of oil a day. So if you're shut down for 24 hours. That's 50,000 barrels a day times $50 at a minimum. Now times it by 100. You're talking about $5 million a day worth of revenue that just got taken out of thin air. It could be pretty meaningful if you're able to keep that up and going. So that's the sort of things that Palantir is able to help you do and understand way faster than anybody else, in a very succinct manner. And they can build it from scratch, no matter what your problem is. They utilize Foundry, which is kind of foundational piece of kit and data collection. And they organize the data, and they can say, well, what kind of operations do you want to run? What are your biggest problems? What are your biggest questions that you want to answer on a day-to-day basis? If you were to start from scratch again, forget everything that you know, what is the simplest form of question that you're trying to answer on a day-to-day basis to make oil and gas better, or to make whatever you're doing, manufacturing better, right? Forget everything that you currently do. If with your experience, what is the 0 to 1 way to go and do it? And let's build it. And that's pretty much what Palantir is trying to do. It's very phenomenal. I knew back in 2015, 2016, when I started using their software, I was like, I need to buy this damn company. And I held up my promise.
Well, you could be doing what Dookie's doing too. She gave away a big secret in the chat.
Yeah. Sorry, once again, guys, I scratched my eye sometime over the past week, and it's pretty painful. So the light kind of hurts. So I'm closing my eyes because it's one.
You don't have to explain yourself.
No, people keep asking. They think I'm high or something. So.
You're not high. You don't sound high. Okay. Even if you were high, who cares?
Not wrong.
Even if you were high. So what? Go smoke a blunt, Matt. You deserve it. What?
You're a funny guy, Steve.
I'm serious. I am serious.
Steve is 420 friendly.
Listen, I don't care what people do in their personal lives as long as it doesn't impact me.
Oh. I wish it was pink eye. Fucking wouldn't hurt as bad. And then I'd be getting some action. And then it's not pink eye. Wish it was.
Oh, this better not be true.
What's that, Steve?
Oh, it's still spring training lineup. All right. I thought the Yankees came out with their solidified lineup.
There you go.
Lena's 420 friendly.
Lena's a real one. Always has been.
Love that. Rehabs for quitters. Love that. That's such a great line. By the way, not sure if anybody cares or not, but the Fanatics flag football is this weekend. And I don't know if this is a bid or not, but Logan Paul has been legitimately seems like he wants to fight Tom Brady, which is just
why?
Ridiculous. Something happened on Logan Paul's podcast when Brady came on, and
I saw that. Brady's fucking right.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Until was it Jake Paul? Yeah, which one's the older one?
Logan.
Yeah, until Logan proves himself in a professional sport or against other athletes. He's right. Yeah, you can be athletic. You can be the coolest dude at the neighborhood fucking basketball court. But go up against a fucking LeBron. As much as I hate LeBron, I prefer Kobe, but R.I.P.
I don't hate LeBron, but I think Kobe was a better basketball player.
Dude, Kobe went to Lower Merion High School, which is a couple high schools over. The stories that I heard about people that played against the guy, so one of my football coaches in high school played against Kobe, and this dude's fucking tall. To play up against Kobe, back then in the 90s, dude, you had to be tall. So this dude's a big dude. And he was just like, there's a photo, I forget what it was. So this documentary of Kobe comes out, and he's like, please, don't have anything. And of course, the photo that comes out when he's playing against our high school is Kobe dunking over my not head football coach, one of the football coaches that I had. and Kobe's just junk is just right in this face. Like you could just be like, it was just he was just like, why do they have to use that picture, right? Like, well, why that picture do you have to use of him dunking over me? His junk is straight up in my face. So anyway,
So if you're a Kobe Bryant fan and you have not seen this, okay, you need to watch it. Kobe Bryant's Moose. I am
yes,
telling you, it is one of the best sports documentaries I have ever seen in my life.
Steve, say
It
it
is
again.
incredible.
Kobe Bryant's
Incredible.
what? Kobe Bryant's what?
Muse.
There you go. It's a little bit
Why?
better.
Why? What did I say? Said Muse, right?
Chat. What did he say?
Did I say
What did he
Moose?
say first?
I
What
didn't
did he
say
say
Moose.
first?
I said Muse. Either way, one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life. This is right up with the Fab Five documentary. And if you haven't seen the Fab Five documentary, I don't know what you've been doing, but watch it this weekend.
I'll have to watch it.
Well, you haven't seen it?
No. You know who Kobe is so big, even a Mitt knows who he is. That's impressive.
Hold on. The Fab Five 30 for 30 is, hold on, let me find the here it is.
I watched a lot of The Last Dance. I didn't watch all of it, which is a mistake. I know. Yeah, even a Mitt knows who the hell Kobe Bryant is. That's impressive.
The Last Dance was good. It was no Fab Five freaking ESPN Films type shit. Okay?
Steve, I'm not jealous of you being older, but you know what I am jealous of?
Hold on one sec, Matt.
You're good.
This, if you're a basketball fan, okay? If you're a basketball fan, go find this and watch it this weekend. This is the best sports documentary. It's incredible. They changed the game of college basketball.
Heard it here first. You know what I'm jealous of, Steve?
What?
So I was born in 91. So that was 6 years after MJ got started. But I was around when like the Sixers went up against the Bulls.
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas,
and the Lakers. So like late, like not late AI, but kind of like mid-career AI.
Yeah.
And a few others. And I caught like the tail end of like MJ's career, and I was just too young to kind of like understand what the hell was going on. And I never understood how big he was when I was growing up, like until I got to like my late teens, early 20s. And then same thing with Tyson. I was too young to be able to appreciate Tyson in his prime. And I just like wish that I wish I had that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I was too young for Tyson. Like I saw some of his fights, but it wasn't the same. Like I'd say the ones that I really watched when I could really understand and appreciate it was Roy Jones, Trinidad, freaking Sugar Shane Mosley, Bernard Hopkins, Ward, Gotti, those guys. I mean, boxing was so freaking good then. It was incredible.
I feel like it's coming back a little bit.
Well, Dana White's trying to bring boxing back, so we'll see. But the Fab Five documentary, ESPN Films, they changed the game. It could be on Netflix. I'm telling you, do me a favor. If you like basketball, I promise you, this is well worth the time. This and Kobe Bryant's Muse, so incredible.
You remind me of
things. And can I go on a rant?
Hit us with the truth, Steve.
I was in a bad mood yesterday over something.
What about?
Somebody sent
Why didn't you call me?
Somebody sent me something, and I got really pissed off.
Was it me?
They're remaking Bloodsport.
Well, you're gonna get angry at me because I'm gonna pull an admit moment.
You've never seen it.
What's Bloodsport, Steve?
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Bloodsport is the best, and I don't care what anybody says. Okay? Let me say that again. I don't care what anybody says. Bloodsport is the greatest martial art movie ever.
I was too young to appreciate Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steve.
And the reason I say that, I know, listen, I love Ip Man. Ip Man's awesome. Iron Monkey is awesome. Okay. I like the freaking Hero, Jet Li. I'm with it. There's
Andre, I appreciate the pushback. Call me out. Call me out.
Bloodsport, and maybe saying it's the greatest martial art movie is the wrong context. It is the movie that was the first true MMA movie.
Okay.
If you want to frame it that way, to me, it's still the best martial art movie because it's just every style against every style. It is freaking amazing. Bloodsport is so freaking great. Oh my God. The Kumite. So you don't know anything about Bloodsport, right? So it's based off this guy, Frank Dukes. And there's a whole conspiracy about this guy. He says that he was in special forces. He said he fought in this secret tournament. Supposedly, he has the fastest knockout. Let me bring this up. Frank Dukes conspiracy. It's so crazy.
So, silly question. So, one, I like the thing that I had an older brother. He was 6.5 years older than me. So, he was kind of like my influence on a lot of pop culture. And then I had my sisters who were 2.5 and 8.5 years older than me. So they were an influence as well. And like between my dad, who was born in 55, and my brother and my sisters, those are my pop culture references. So like, I don't know. I feel like there's a window like the mid 80s to early 90s where a lot of that stuff kind of just got lost.
Yeah. So
if that makes sense.
Frank Dukes served in the United States Marine Corps Reserves from 75 to 81 and claimed he was sent on covert missions in Southeast Asia. He also claimed he was awarded the Medal of Honor. Dukes wrote articles for the September and October 1980 issues of Black Belt magazine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He also co-authored an article on knife fighting inside Kung Fu. In 1980, he was interviewed by Jon Stewart from Black Belt, stating that he participated in a 1975 martial arts competition in the Bahamas called the Kumite, describing the event as a 60-round single elimination tournament held in secret every 5 years. So according to Dukes, he was the first person to give permission to speak publicly about the event. Said he achieved several world records, including the most consecutive knockouts, 56, and the fastest knockout punch, 0.12 seconds. So Bloodsport, and like at the end of the movie, they have like all these credits. Dude, back then, nobody knew if this was true or not. There's an asterisk. Obviously, I think it's all bullshit. The movie is so good, though. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme plays Frank Dukes. It's freaking great.
Steve, I feel like there's a lot of action movies that I need to catch up on.
Oh, I can make you a list of action movies, man.
Like good action movies. I'm going to give you a timeline. So Arnold, like True Lies, Predator.
A lot of people are gonna disagree with me. I'm not a big Arnold fan.
Why? You just think he was just a blockhead, or
I don't know. Like, I think Predator's overrated.
I
I
thought
think
Predator was overrated. I
I
still
think the
like it, but it's
Terminator
overrated.
movies are way better than Predator.
Agreed.
I don't think True Lies is that good. The one movie that he did that was awesome that doesn't get enough credit is Commando.
Yeah, I don't even know Commando.
But I think that when you start talking about like legit action movies from back then, like if you're not talking about Double Impact with Jean Claude Van Damme, if you're not talking about Kickboxer with Jean Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport, if you're not talking about Lethal Weapon, which supposedly they're making a new Lethal Weapon, which is going to be freaking great. But if you're not talking about Lethal Weapon, which is better than Die Hard, if you're not talking about Beverly Hills Cop, oh my God. Oh my God. And then look, Steven Seagal changed the game for martial art movies back in the day. There are 5 Seagal movies that are so good. If they're on TV, I'll watch them. Do you know what they are? Or should I just name them, Matt?
Just name it off, Steve.
Okay. Have you seen any Steven Seagal movies, Matt?
No.
What? Are you serious?
Telling you, there's a window between the Schwarzenegger movies and the like
right.
Wild Wild West Will Smith, like that time period. I was just too young.
We should just watch one together and just fucking put it on. Maybe we do like a private stream if people want to watch it with us and commentate. That'd be hilarious. Not do it live on YouTube. We'll just do like a private stream that never gets recorded. So, but I'm gonna pretend that you did not say that, sir. How dare you, sir? It's above the law, not beyond the law. Oh my God. So, above the law, out for justice,
Dylan, you son of a bitch. Sorry.
marked for death, under siege, and hard to kill. Those 5 are the only 5 Steven Seagal movies to ever watch.
Okay.
Ever. Anything past Under Siege, don't watch.
I was still too young for like.
Deadly Ground. I mean,
I remember watching Lethal Weapon, RoboCop. Like I remember watching it, but I was too
You've
young.
never seen Murtaugh Riggs?
No, I don't think that. I don't think so.
Matt. Really?
Steve, I tried my best. I can only.
Murtaugh Riggs. We're not too old for this shit, Matt.
There will be blood.
Everybody in the chat, can you guys believe this? Like, no Lethal Weapon? Come on.
I think you know what I need to do, Steve? I need to remake There Will Be Blood. But it's based in Utah. And it's an actual documentary about my life.
You ever see Grosse Point Blank?
Yeah.
Did you at least see freaking Beverly Hills Cop?
Yes.
Thank God. Thank you. Thank you.
People are saying don't watch anything with Van Damme or Steven Seagal, Steve.
Oh, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. If you grew up when I grew up, those movies were classics. Like, I'm not saying the acting's good. I'm saying they're classics.
Yeah, Steve, have you seen Malibu's Most Wanted?
I have not seen Malibu's Most Wanted.
Come at me.
I have not.
Have you seen Bad Boys?
Dude, talk about an incredible franchise.
That's a good franchise.
Incredible franchise.
I watched the most recent one on the plane back from the UK.
I almost need to do a woosah right now because of you.
Feel free, Steve. I'll do it for you. Let me reach through.
Yeah, Bad Boys is incredible. I'm with you, Chels.
Rush Hour is great.
Yeah, I liked Rush Hour. That's a fun movie. I will tell you. Inside
Steve,
Man.
serious question.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a little movie I like to call Shanghai Noon?
Shanghai Noon. It sounds familiar. I can't place it.
Steven.
Why can't I place it?
Can't believe you, Steve.
I don't lie. So I may have. I just can't place it. What is it?
Can't believe it, Steve.
It sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
Owen Wilson.
Who else is in it? Why am I? I'm just gonna freaking Google it.
Jackie Chan.
Hold on. No, I don't think I did. I'll watch it.
It's not bad. It's pretty funny.
We are getting a lot of good ones. I mean,
I think Rush Hour is better, but
all right, Dookie Pie is speaking my language.
what's
Friday and Boys in the Hood. Dookie Pie, did you see Above the Rim with Tupac also? If you saw Above the Rim, I feel like Dookie Pie is going to say yes. Yeah, yeah. Above the Rim was so good. Not many people have seen that. South Central, seen all of them.
So stock, Steve. What are we buying?
You know, Matt, I bought NVIDIA. So,
Do you think? So serious question, because you heard me go on my rant earlier. Do you think that people should stop being so shook? Do you think that people are too? Just your opinion, right? Non financial advice. Just two guys chatting out. Do you think people try to hyper focus on getting the best dollar entry point that they want?
Yeah, look, I think people analyze way too much and they try to pick tops and bottoms and they drive themselves crazy. Look, if you're buying a stock that's $5 and you're trying to get in at 4 instead of 6, I get that to a degree because if you're buying it at 4 or you're buying it at 6, you're getting it at 4, you're getting 50% more shares than you would get at 6. So that type of thing, I'll let slide a little bit. You start talking about something like an NVIDIA. What the hell is the difference if you pay 175 or 170?
Steve,
$500 on 100 shares?
Steve.
$5 on one share? Like, what are we doing? Like, I just think that when you start talking about share prices and stuff, and it always amazes, like the S&P, I just think you always buy when you have money. It depends. Like the S&P just every 2 weeks buy it, in my opinion, because over the long run you're going to be fine. Individual stocks, so like if you're trying to say Amazon at 207 isn't good enough, and you want to wait till 199, like is that $8 really going to do anything for you? I just think
the thing that I think people don't realize is like, take Rocket Lab, for example. Rocket Lab will eventually be a $200 stock easily, in my opinion. So it's like, does it really matter if you bought it at 60 or 65? Just buy the fucking stock. Like I tell this to my sister a lot. She's like, oh, but it ran 5% yesterday. And I'm like, do you believe that the company, like, she's like, yeah, I do believe that based off what you've told me, it's going to be a $40, $50 stock. Like, I'm like, then why does it matter if you're buying it at $5 or $5.50? Like, it doesn't matter. Just buy the damn stock.
I agree, Matt. Dookie Pie. Matt is going to have a huge mansion and a nice robe and slippers with his cigar and little dogs. I'm with you.
Only when Steve hires me.
I'm with you.
Till then, I'm broke.
And then Dookie's going to have dinner with you.
I'll have dinner with anybody, especially Dookie. I'll have dinner with Dookie twice more than anybody else, except for Steve. Steve 3 times more than anyone else.
Let me frame it like this. If somebody asked me that question, Matt, and they were a trader, absolutely it matters because they're going to try to scalp, so every penny counts. If you're a long-term investor, Apple at 240 or 230, and you're going to hold it for 5 years, who cares? So, yeah, I think that people drive themselves freaking crazy with this. I really do. And I think for no reason. Today, I didn't know that I was not thinking about buying Nvidia in the morning. In the afternoon, I was like, man, if it keeps sliding, I think I'm going to buy some more. And then it got to 172 something. I'm like, fuck it. Am I going to wait for it to break 170? What if it doesn't? Like, all right, cool. I'll buy more. It hit a number, it hit a range. And I'm like, it's too cheap. I think it's too cheap. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I'm not going to sit there and wait for 169. Like, what's a couple bucks?
The only time where I'm like sitting there, like being super selective, right, is if I'm entering a new position. Because to me, it's like that's a big thing for me. That's going to require an additional 10% of my brain capacity. Like, if I'm entering a new position, I'm like, okay, I want it to be at least an okay price. So I might be a little bit more peculiar. But most of the time, when I'm like, as soon as I find out, I'm like, I need this stock. Like Symbotic, I had heard people being like, Symbotic's expensive. Like, it's back at like $65. I'm like, I don't care. I think Symbotic is going to eventually, be a potentially $200 billion company. So why do I care if I'm buying it at 60, 65, luckily I've been able to buy it in the 50s now here and even in the high 40s. But like when I make a decision, Sometimes the decision, like right now, I feel like is being made for me, like with a Microsoft and a Meta. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's 2022 all over again to some extent. I'm not saying Microsoft is dirt cheap here because it's not, but it's definitely way cheaper than it was. And at what point do you say like Microsoft is cheap enough? I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, it's pretty
You're
damn
always
cheap.
going to be a premium. So
It's pretty cheap.
I mean, it's below 20 price to earnings like for 12 months, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I think Microsoft is very cheap here. I like it. I think a lot of them are cheap. I think Nvidia is dirt cheap. I think Meta is dirt cheap. So we'll see what happens. See what happens. Well, Matt, why don't we do this? Why don't we go for 8 minutes and then call it?
I want to answer this person's question.
Okay.
Pedro, Matt, Steve, I have tremendous respect for you. Say if you're investing today and you have to choose 5 stocks long term, who would you choose and why? I would almost immediately say, depending on what type of investor you are, it's more likely that you should only invest in one thing, and that's the S&P 500. I would say that the majority of people think that they're way smart, including myself, by the way, think they're way smarter than they really are, and they'd more likely do just as good matching the market with a potential anywhere between a 5 to 15% annualized return in the good years. Sometimes it even goes to 30%. And a 10-15% down in the bad years, and just consistently every single month just invest as much as you can. I think investing in getting to where you want to be is more of a problem of people not saving as much than it is people finding the right investments. I think that the American economy, with the way it's set up right now and has been set up over the past 50 to 100 years, has been the best wealth generator that this world has ever seen. And to me, what you can control is you can control how much you're putting into the market to some extent every single month. That is, I think, the biggest part that will have a huge contribution to your future progress than you trying to hyper focus on getting a 14 to 15% return versus what the market did last year, right? Like, I think the things that you can control are what you need to hyper focus on and just let the money do its thing. Now, if you do have an excessive amount of time and or opportunity to hyper focus and feel like you have an opportunity to find truffles where the rest of the market may be missing out, then by all means, but you have to spend a lot of hours. Very rarely will you get lucky in this game, because a lot of these people like Steve, myself, they're putting in multiple hours a week, if not almost a full-time job, reading articles, writing articles, contributing to things like the invest. So it's very rare that you're going to show up and give your 20 minutes a week, which is less than probably 10 hours a year, and magically beat a Warren Buffett, right? So to me, I think the big thing, and this is part of the reason why I've always wanted to become a potential financial advisor, which I'm not. So don't listen to me because I'm just an idiot talking on a microphone. But I think that there's some people that just always will believe that there's some visions for grandeur, that you're able to just figure out this magical formula. If there was a magical formula, it'd be written down. The problem is that everybody's life and style of investing and what they want to see out of their investment portfolio, etc., is all different because everybody else's objectives and time horizons and everything are different. So there's no one size fits all. But the one thing that you can do to put a big leg up on you comparatively to anybody else is just investing more money. And the easiest way I like to explain this is because I think that there's 5 key things to investing, but the one that I like to hyper focus on the most is how much you're adding every single month. There's so many people out there that are like, oh, I have this $1,000, Matt. How do I make it $1,000,000? Well, that's going to require you to do 1,000x. Like, do you know how difficult it is to find 1,000x opportunity to go from 1,000 to $1,000,000? That's extremely difficult, and I guarantee 99.999% of people in the world will never be able to do something like that. You know, it's literally the easiest thing to do to make it half the amount of work. Instead of 1,000x, you just only have to do 500x, which is still infinitesimally difficult to do, but is literally half as hard. Is just add another $1,000 to the fucking portfolio, and I guarantee if you do that the next month, it goes from 500 times to 300x, then it goes to 250x, then it goes to 125x, and then slowly over time. And I know $1,000 is a lot of money, so I'm probably pushing it over the edge here, but start at $100. Steve has showed with his $100 a week contributions and his dividend investing portfolio how you can have meaningful, massive returns in a portfolio that will then yield you hundreds of dollars a month if you just focus and put attention where your money, or put attention on your money and focus on saving. Money will start to show up. And I think, unfortunately, what the problem is people want to have their attention on so many different things. And one other key thing, other than those 5 key things I talk about for portfolio, management and everything like that, one key lesson learned that you can hopefully take from this call, and this is something Grant Cardone always says, love him or hate him, I think this is extremely beneficial. And I want to hand it back to Steve. I'm sorry, Steve, I can't see, so my eyes are closed, so I'm just going on tangents.
I'm not saying anything.
That's why I'm just acknowledging, because you might be giving me the eye. I don't know if you're giving me the eye. I don't have eyes, so I'm just kidding. But the thing that Grant Cardone always says, love him or hate him, because I know he's a very polarizing figure, but he's always says something which I truly believe. Money goes where attention goes. And I 100% agree with that. Do you know how many people I know that make as much money as I do, that are engineers and work for large oil and gas companies, that have $0 to their name? Like, they might live in a nice house, but other than that, they don't have a large stock portfolio where they could quit today and, not have to worry about money for a couple of years. They're still kind of living paycheck to paycheck. And because they have so many thoughts on this thing and that thing, and to me, there's an opportunity cost, not just with putting money into the market, but opportunity cost on happiness as well. There's no way you could be happy hyper focusing on or trying to focus on 18 different things that you want to do in a month, when it's likely just going to end up in your garage sitting there not used, and next thing you know, you just spent $5,000 on this hobby that you only did once or twice. That was a waste of $5,000. Versus if you love fishing, spend $1,000 on a new fishing pole. That thing will last you 20 years if you want it to. So, might as well focus on particular hobbies that you like. So to me, money goes where attention goes, and always save more than you think you should. And I think you'll end up doing a lot better than just trying to find the perfect 5 stocks, right? So apologies for the long tangent there, but hopefully there were some good lessons.
I mean, look, I can't tell anybody what are the 5 best things that they should invest in. It's very subjective. It could also be very wrong. If you're young the one thing that I would say is not enough people start an S&P 500 investment and continuously add. You can do whatever you want, but that should always be the safety net. That I wish that I started an S&P fund when I was much younger. It's not easy to do it. When you're in your late teens, early 20s, that's the last thing you want to do. But if you have the ability to be disciplined and start an S&P fund, look at the power of compounding over 30, 40 years. It seems like it's so far away, and it is. And it's not easy to not touch that money, but you'll be so your future self will be so thankful. And what I would say is start an S&P, add to it every month, and then once you have a good amount there, start picking individuals. You can make so much more on individuals. There's no question. You got to be right all the time. S&P 500, you never have to be right. You always get access to the greatest stocks. You caught the entire run of NVIDIA. You caught the entire run of Apple. You caught a good amount of the run with Palantir. You always catch so much of the runs with the S&P. And you can also do a mixture of ETFs. You could do the S&P. You could do an S&P 500 focused growth fund. There's a few different ways that you can do it. So now I'm going to talk about me personally, okay? If you said to me, if you framed the question, Steve, for you, what would be the 5 things that you would buy right now for yourself? Well, I'm adding to the S&P every 2 weeks. That's not changing. I just added to NVIDIA. That's public. I would still add to NVIDIA. I would still add to Amazon because I think Amazon's got huge amount of potential. From an income perspective, I would be adding to QQQI because I think it's an incredible ETF that people are sleeping on. I also think that there's some really good income plays out there. I really like Meta. I really like Microsoft here. I'm not in a position where I'm looking for something that's 100 million market cap. I'm not looking for something that's $2 that can go to 50. Now, if I stumble upon it or somebody stumbles upon it, they're actually able to convince me, I'll buy it. But that's not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for things that are less risk that can do well and make me money. I'm not looking to have a 50% chance that what I put in never comes back. Trust me, I've blown an account up before. I've had something that was a very solid investment go to zero because of having some bullshit. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but I'm not going to do that again. So allowing yourself to not get caught up in the hype and take the boring route of the S&P allows you to say, I don't give a fuck. And the reason it allows you to say that is because right now you're not down nearly as much as everybody else. When you're, look, SoFi, we've ridden SoFi down 45% in the past 2 weeks. I mean, it certainly doesn't feel good. People that have been in S&P didn't feel that drop. You know, if you've been in Hood since 120, you've ran that down 50%. Doesn't feel good. You're in the S&P, you don't feel it. So it all depends on risk tolerance. It all depends on how much of your paycheck you're investing. Are you saving cash as well? What's your overall situation like? There's a lot of things in there where you have to really think about. So I still believe a lot in the S&P. I think it's an incredible investment.
Steven,
Maddie,
we buying more SoFi or what?
not here.
No?
No.
Did he pull the trigger on next decade or what?
No, I bought more NVIDIA today.
You get it. You hate me. I get it. It's all right.
All right. I got to get going. I got to stream in 25 minutes with Tevi and Roy. Matt, would you like to join the
Oh, is it a
after hours?
bootleg? Oh, no, it's Friday. Sorry. I went into the office, like my eyes messed up. I went into the office. I still think it's like a Thursday. I'm sorry.
Do you want to join the after hours with us tonight?
When's after hours?
Like 10?
So it's 9 my time.
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah,
I need to
send you a
rest
link.
I need to rest my eyes, which I
Okay.
have been doing for like the past hour. But I also would like to get something delicious in my tummy at some
Yeah,
point.
I need to get something to eat. So I will be back at 9 with Tevi and Roy. And we'll see everybody in a little bit. Thank you for joining us this evening. Chels, thank you for being here. PB, thank you for being here. Dookie, I don't think you're here anymore. Thank you for being here. Jake Rizzo, not Jacker, not Izzo, but Jake Rizzo, thank you for being here. Rick, thank you for being here. Lena, thank you for being here. Ori, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Right? Mamba Mentality, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, everybody. And we will, Matt, Sunday we'll be live, right? I can't do tomorrow during the day.
Yeah, Sunday.
So Matt and I will do the small portfolio on Sunday. I will be around tomorrow night. Matt or some other people may join. I'll send a bat signal out. We'll see who wants to come, and I will go from there. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you all so
everyone in a
much.
little bit.
It's a pleasure to be here hanging out with Steve.